In this video, I want to do two things. First, I'd like to compare Descript with SquadCast now, Riverside and Zencastr, remote recording tools for podcasters and YouTubers. And in the second half of this video, I'm going to run through a very short demo of the new Descript plus SquadCast. Let's go. By the way, I'll actually leave a link to this exact document in the YouTube description, so you go look at my notes or whatnot. Also, I've done hundreds of interviews. I've been podcasting for 14 years. I've used all three of these apps, both the free plans and actually some of these companies, actually all these companies, have given me access to their paid plans over the years, but no one's paying me to make this video. No one gave me cash. I'm going to say what I want to, etc. I've used more, by the way, than these three tools, but I think these are going to be the three most popular ones in the years to come. So that's what I really want to talk about. So let's dive in. Free plans are available on Descript with SquadCast and Riverside, not on Zencastr anymore. They announced a few months ago they're getting rid of the free plan, which is hugely disappointing because it was good. There was plenty of recording time available and it was great. And now they're getting rid of it. It's kind of like hosting only or something weird. Really stinks. But Descript, Riverside, you can still try it out for free. On the free tier, only 1 hour of recording for Descript, 2 for Riverside. I wish they were like 2 or 3, maybe even like 4 hours would be better. Only 720p video recordings, and Riverside has watermarks on their exports, which is also highly annoying. But I mean, 1 hour recording a month, Descript, that's not a lot. I kind of wish they would do a few more, but still, no watermarks. We're okay with that. That's good. All right, the first paid tier, $15 a month, $20 a month, and then $20 a month. 10 hours, 4K video on Descript, only 5 on Riverside. I think that's a huge letdown for $20 a month. If you're going to choose between Descript and Riverside, Descript wins every time with this, on the tiers, especially the pricing models. Technically unlimited hours, no 4K video yet on Zencastr with the $20 a month thing. Unlimited hours is nice, but I don't know, it depends on all these other features. I'll let you make that decision. There are other pricing tiers, $30 a month, $30 a month, and then $50 a month for Zencastr. 30 hours, 4K video, that's more than enough, I think, for most people. 15 hours with Riverside. Again, not enough to justify this price tag, I think. Only 5 hours and then 15 hours recording. It depends on your podcast, but that's still, it's a little stingy, right? Especially when Descript has this. And Descript's going to win down here. Spoiler alert. That said, unlimited hours, 4K video, cool. There's also a $300 a month Zencastr plan, which has more AI features, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Moving on to my tier rankings here. It's worth noting that these are just my opinions, but I do have ample experience with all of these. So let's talk about scheduling. Creating a new session, if you're going to invite guests, send them an email with the recording link and that sort of stuff. Honestly, you could do the one-click emails to all your guests really easily. And all three of these, they all have this functionality. You create a new room, it creates a link. You can click to copy the link or you can email your guest. It's all pretty fluid on all three of these things, I will say. They're all tied on that one, to be frank. I'm actually going to skip ahead a little bit and talk about the studio experience. When you're actually recording, and there's a green room, and you set up your mic options, and you adjust audio, and all this stuff. The studio experience. A tier on Descript and Riverside. They both have different roles for your guests. Your guests can be on stage with you, as in they're going to record audio, record video. But there's also a different role, they call it backstage on SquadCast, Descript. I can't remember what it's called on Riverside, like producer, and they have something else, where they're not actually recorded, but they can show up and listen and watch. Both of these two tools have that. Zencastr does not, to my knowledge. At least I couldn't find it. I've never done it with Zencastr. I've only used their free plan in the most recent year, and so I'm not sure if they have that or not, to be frank, but I didn't see anything on it, which is weird. But they have that on here. Other than that, changing audio settings, it's pretty straightforward. I think I like the Descript pull-out panel. You press a settings button, and it pulls out a sidebar with all of your settings right there. I think that's much cleaner than the way these other two tools do it. But honestly, the actual studio room, the experience in the browser, it's still pretty good for all of these tools. I think Descript and Riverside are better than Zencastr for sure. I don't like Zencastr used to, sometimes it still does, crash when your screen goes to sleep. If you're actively touching your mouse or your keyboard, my screen would go to sleep, and stop the recording and mess up my audio and stuff like that. It's been happening for years on and off, and I've told support about it on and off, and it still happens. Never once happened with Riverside or SquadCast. They keep your computer active and doesn't go to sleep, and never had to worry about that. I don't think there's like an S tier here. I think they're all pretty good, the studio experience. And they all offer all the same features, by the way. I figured I'd point this out. There's a lot of features that I'm not going to specifically mention that all three of these tools kind of do. For example, you record your audio and video in this high quality stuff, but in the browser, you're usually not watching the other person's video feed, and they're not seeing your video feed in 4K. It's adjusted down to improve latency and reduce errors and that sort. They all have these sorts of features. The stuff that I don't really mention, they're all pretty like on par with. I'm mostly trying to highlight how these tools are different. So let's actually go back up to reliability. How often does this crash? How often do errors happen? How often does audio drop out? That sort of stuff. I think Riverside is just a clear B tier. All the other ones are probably fine. Again, I put A tier for Zencastr only because I have had the screen saver like comes on, you know what I mean, that I just said. I have had issues with that in the past. Never once had it with SquadCast. Even before Descript bought it, SquadCast was the most reliable tool I found, period. And this is a sort of thing where if you have a horror story, you hear a horror story on this tool or that tool, some people will like swear, oh, Riverside's terrible, SquadCast's terrible, or whatever. I've used all these tools, and I've never had an issue with SquadCast, including the new SquadCast with Descript. It's S tier to me, B tier and Riverside because it's just clunky, and I've had issues with audio files here and there. I've had issues with video literally not recording for one person, even though I see it and the settings are on, and a recorded video for this other person. I've had issues, just like 3 or 4 over the years that I've used them, but it's enough to give me this rating right here. SquadCast never had any issues. Zencastr, the occasional like screensaver issue, it was really frustrating and annoying. Okay, audio quality. I don't need to talk about this in 2024. All of them are fine. Audio quality and the video quality by this point does not matter. They're all good. They're all good. There's not one that's like way better than the others. Audio or video quality. I could have put that down here too. They're all tied for this, in my opinion. They record great video. They record great audio. Everything's like backed up in the browser. It's good. I don't need to talk about this anymore. They all have good quality. You're not going to like choose one of these tools over the other based on that. A few things here. Transcriptions, they all do a fairly good job, but I'm going to tell you Descript is Descript. SquadCast is the remote recording tool. They've been around for a couple of years. Descript also just editing tool and like now a recording tool. Now that they have SquadCast in their toolkit, it's S tier. It's the best there is. Transcriptions, 25-ish languages you could choose. It's really, really good. Only 1 hour on the free plan. Again, I wish they would do just a few more on their free plan. 10 hours on the $10, $12 a month plan, $15 a month plan, whatever it is. By the way, all these prices are monthly. You can pay annually and save like 20-ish% on like all these tools. So it's actually a little cheaper. These prices you see right here are the monthly prices. Transcriptions, absolutely phenomenal on Descript. Riverside, the transcriptions work, but it's only available on the most expensive tier, unlimited transcriptions. Really frustrating. Tell me why. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. There's no transcriptions on, I'm pretty sure it's the middle tier. Yeah, unlimited transcriptions is pro only. On the lowest paid plan, no unlimited transcriptions. That's a big deal breaker for a lot of people. A tier on Zencastr, it's fine. Unlimited hours, obviously paid plans only, but they have transcriptions. That said, Descripts are better. They're more accurate, and you can edit them. Much better. Way easier. Like a million times easier, because Descript is, again, an editor. Speaking of editing, I think this is the last big category, and then I want to get at like some of my favorite features and stuff like that. But editing, obviously S tier, Descript. Descript is an editor. I don't even think I really have to talk about that, except for Descript if you're watching this video. When are we going to get third-party plugin support? I need my other compressors and tools. I'm just saying. Give those to me, please. Other than that, Descript, one of the best editors, period. One of the best DAWs, digital audio workstations, period. Editing podcasts, video podcasts, straight from SquadCast. That integration, I'll show it to you in the demo in a second, but it's really good. And in fact, it's one of my favorite things ever. The cloud transfers. I'll show you that stuff in a second. Riverside and Zencastr, both B tier. They're not editors. They're recording softwares. They do have some editing functionalities in there, but they're not good. They're not good at all. In fact, Riverside is leaning into a lot of AI one-click post-productions where you just press this button and it's going to like adjust the sounds and trying to edit the podcast for you. I like that they're doing that. In fact, let me just skip ahead to this is Pete's faves, my favorite part about each of these tools. I like that they're doing that, but it's not there yet. It's not that great yet. There's not a lot of control and customizability over it. I like the audiogram stuff. I like that you can kind of switch up the background and where you put speakers and how that looks exactly, the formatting, and you can do Instagrams or Twitter or all this other stuff. All of these tools have that. All three of them have that. But that's about it with Riverside and their editing. It's clunky. It's hard to use. Technically, there's an editor where you can like splice the audio timelines like a little bit. It's not what you want to be using. It's not. If you edit podcast, don't do it in Riverside. They may have some post-production features that are handy for social media or whatnot. But honestly, like it's not super great. But I like that they're trying. I think one day in the future, they could actually improve these one-click post-production tools to actually be much better. There's enough automation in Descript to make it win. But I like that they're trying this. Zencastr, post-production credits I don't like the way they do this. I'm just being honest with you. 10-hour post-production credits. And they have a few different tiers down here, 20 hours post-production credits, etc. They work okay, just about as much as Riverside, but when I did this, and this was probably a year and a half ago that I started trying these, I just wasn't really impressed with it. It's clunky. It's not really worth my time. I can do better editing myself personally, and it's just not worth it. B tier at best. S tier editing. It's literally the best, in my opinion. And more people, YouTubers and podcasters alike, are going with Descript as their editor over Premiere Pro, Logic Pro, Audacity, all these other like podcast DAWs, right? Let's move on to my faves here. I already mentioned, I like that Riverside's trying the one-click editing stuff. They're not quite there yet, but I like that they're trying. Zencastr, I don't have any favorites now. It used to be their free plan. It was like, yes, Zencastr's free plan, so totally worth it. I love Zencastr because of this. And then they got rid of it, and now I think there's absolutely no reason to use Zencastr. I'm really sorry, Zencastr. The tool works. It's fine. For the most part, it's not great, but why would you use it over these other tools? There's absolutely no reason to anymore. Sorry, Zencastr. Descript, I love. I do think there are things that they need to improve on it. But really quick, my three favorite features. Number one, just script editing, right? You can the text like a Google Doc, and it edits the audio and video. It takes a little bit of getting used to. I mean, this has been around for a couple of years at this point. And some other tools are starting to do this, but Descript was the first. They're by far the best, and it's the most fluid thing. It's easy. It's a good experience overall. It works great. The new, like, doing everything in the cloud feature, as in when I edit in Descript now, I have the app on my computer, but I don't use it anymore just because it also works in the browser, and it's great. So why would I, ever do things on my computer again? And when you want to send this to SquadCast, for example, SquadCast, when you do SquadCast, I'll show you this in a second, and you send it to Descript, now you can just do it on the cloud. You don't have to download all the files and re-upload them. You can just send it, and it does everything on the computer. And then you close your browser and you can go eat lunch and then come back later, and it's in Descript. Everything's cloud-based. It saves everything in the cloud. The files are transferred in the cloud. It's so cool. Not having to deal with as many downloads and uploads and choosing folders on your computer and then making sure screw it. Cloud everything. I'm a huge fan of this. Especially for publishing and transferring between SquadCast and Descript. Oh, it's so good. It works really well. It's one of my favorite things about the new SquadCast in Descript. They do have a bunch of new AI features, which is handy. I'll show you some of those in a second. Talk about those more. They're doing really cool AI stuff as well, obviously. But honestly, the bread and butter for me, script editing and the removing silence and filler words is gold. It's just gold. If you remove filler words at all, which I would think most people should do at least a little bit of, just to clean up their podcast, their interviews, oh man, it's so easy. It's one click, or if you can go through individually and just kind of use the next button to find different filler words and then just hit X to delete it. And then go to the next one and then hit X. Or you can just do the entire file at once, automatically. It's an insane cheat code for editing podcast and video. It's just nuts. It's just nuts. That's by far my favorite part of Descript, period. Amazing. So last part, and then I'll do a quick demo. Who's this for? Who should buy these tools? We'll start with Zencastr. I don't think anybody should really use Zencastr that much anymore. Unless you're just already using it and you're happy and you don't want to think about anything else, go for it. But there's not a whole lot of reasons to use Zencastr at all. Sorry. Riverside, again, podcasters only, meaning like no YouTubers really. I think there's just not enough there for that. If you have an editor, you pay your own editors, I could see not really utilizing all of this stuff right here. I could see that. But there's still not a great reason to prefer Riverside over SquadCast. Like SquadCast recording experience, I think, is slightly better. The reliability is slightly better. And you get access to Descript. It's just a no-brainer. And for, honestly, less money. Mainly, like, I don't know, maybe like the unlimited hours thing, there could be an argument for Zencasters. If you're recording like more than 30 hours a month, maybe. But even then, like $30 a month for the highest, the most expensive Descript plan, I don't know. That's still worth it to me. Just be honest. The only thing I'll say is that there is a learning curve with Descript. Not SquadCast. SquadCast's still fine. It's basically the same as it's always been. Honestly, better. But editing the transcriptions, that sort of stuff in Descript, yeah, there's a learning curve. There's a lot of features there. And if you're used to a timeline DAW, like Logic Pro or Reaper or Hindenburg or any of these like podcasting editing tools, there's a little bit of a learning curve. I don't think there's that much more than learning any other workstation from scratch. But if you're coming from one of those other tools, a little bit of a learning curve. But it's like 10 times more powerful. So that's what you get. So let me give you a quick demo of the new SquadCast and Descript. This is actually a new account that I've had only for a couple of weeks. That's not my old SquadCast account. You can create a number of shows. You can click here to see your usage for the month, as you can see right there. You can see sessions here. You can also click over here to see all of your recordings or whatnot. Let's actually just pretend. You can start a new session now. You can schedule a session, enter in the name of it, obviously, set a date and time, whatever. Time zone, I actually found really helpful. You can just type in a couple of letters there. Video only, audio only, or video and audio, etc. I actually haven't tried this yet. Maximize recording quality. I haven't tried that. But you can click here to learn more about it. The stage for your guest, obviously, or you can enter in your guest right here and click send emails, and then it'll send them, obviously, the emails. And there's some other stuff right here backstage. You can just hit done. Let's save that. And now it appears down there. And then you can do start session, or you could do a new start new session right there. It will first give you the green room. Hi. Where you enter in your name, pronouns. Oh, there we go. There's my other camera now. Choose your info here, echo cancellation, choose your microphone, choose your video feed, as well as your quality or whatnot. Headphones, choose your outputs, etc., and then hit join session. You can also do a little test recording to see how it sounds. It records for about 8-10 seconds or whatever. This is going to look weird because I'm actually using my camera to record this video. I'm actually surprised it's working at all. It usually works flawless though. You can invite people backstage from here. You can, this is obviously record. You can take a screenshot. You can share your screen, etc. And then this is where you access all of your settings. It took me a hot minute to find this, but once I click the settings gear down here, it's like, oh, okay, there it is. And you can do all sorts of other stuff. You can actually change the layout of some of those things as well. And you can also click invite to copy the link and see other stuff right there. You can mute from here and turn off video as well as some other things right here. You can also move people backstage, which I think is interesting. View whoever's in the room and leave session right there after you're done recording or what. It's pretty straightforward. I feel like it's mostly intuitive. I'm actually going to leave this. I'm actually going to go to this one I did just a day or two ago. You can download the files directly But again, the cool thing about SquadCast and Descript now is that you don't have to do this. If you're going to edit in Descript anyways, I don't actually see a big reason to do that. You can actually just choose the files you want. In my case, all of them. That would be me and Tiffany. You can listen, you can watch from here, which is really interesting. Or you can click edit in Descript. By the way, you can also you can mix some of the audio from here. I don't suggest doing that if you're going to use Descript anyways, of course, but you can. You can play around with that stuff. I never will, but just because SquadCast is owned by Descript now. And you can click edit in Descript. Audio only, audio and video. We'll do that. And the cool thing is you don't actually have to download the files. It just sends them straight to Descript. Choose your workplace, transcription language, create project, and import files. Now, obviously, this is going to take a little while. It opens Descript right from here, as you can see. And I'm actually going to pause this video and come back in probably 5 to 7 minutes. This is like a 50-minute long interview with 2 video files of high quality. So it's several gigs that it's transferring. But everything happens in the cloud. I didn't have to download anything. Now I just got to get another cup of coffee, come back here in 5 minutes, and I'll show you the editing process. All right, I just took a little break, came back. Looks like this message is still up here. It's probably still optimizing all the video stuff, but it's all here. The transcripts are done. The timeline is ready, and I can probably just go ahead and start editing. It might be a little bit slower until these are optimized for editing, but who knows? So I'm only going to do 2 or 3 things here. Number 1, first, I'm going to select the video in multicam. There's actually a few different multicams you can do. I like to do active speaker, where whoever is speaking on my podcast just takes up the entire screen. So I'm going to do that. There you go. You can see it automatically just cut up the entire video into active speaker. Okay, now what about silences? Let's actually go back to the beginning. You can see there's 4 or 5 seconds of silence before we start. And there might be other silences. So I'm actually going to go to the Actions menu, which is Command K, Control K, and shorten word gaps here. Anything 2 seconds or more, shorten to 1 second. And you can edit these, of course. And I'm just going to hit shorten all. It'll take a minute. And it says shorten 5 word gaps. And now you can see at the very beginning, this might sound weird, by the way, because I'm also recording the video. Tiff, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Pete.
Okay, well, it worked, and hopefully you heard that if I'm recording correctly. Now, what about filler words? Obviously, this is one of my favorite features, period, of Descript. I'm going to go back to the Actions, do remove filler words here, and I'm actually going to do them all at once, but instead of all of the filler words, I'm actually only going to do and us. I usually keep just about everything in. It's kind of an annoying one sometimes. And personally, I use the word a lot, so sometimes I do that one as well. But for doing all of them at once, in one click, I usually just do and us, which will be 161. 161 instances of that, which is absolutely crazy. And there's some settings that you can change here. You can also choose to delete and replace with a gap. I usually don't do that. I usually trim that time or whatnot. You can also remove them from the transcript if you wanted. That's helpful if you're going to do the transcript, but you're not going to edit them out, I think. So I'm just going to delete them, hit remove all. Again, this will take 5-10 seconds or 2 seconds. Deleted 161 of them. And now all those and ahs are out. Also, we have here somewhere. Oh, yeah. She's oh no, can we start over?
Oh, no. Can we start over?
So what I'm going to do here is look where the edit comes back in, which is right here. All right, sorry. So I'll probably just let's just select all actually. Let's just do it here and then hit delete. And it looks like this stuff right here. Oops. I can just do the timeline editing as well, actually. So I removed all that out, but now there's a couple of these. So actually I can just drag this over and then there we go. So now we'll do this. We'll start with that one.
Yeah, so let me give you a little of the backstory just to make it.
Right. You can edit here. You can edit down here. This isn't a full video on Descript, so I'm not going to do any more than that at the moment. Other than, what we could do? We could do a studio sound. Oh, yeah. Okay, I got the actual thing. There we go. Studio sound. I'll turn on. This is a cool feature that processes the audio. It's kind of like one of these alphonic sorts of scenarios. Just makes it better. Improves the quality of the audio. I found that this only really works well with good enough sounding audio anyways. With really terrible audio, it will make it better, but it's not going to sound perfect. Again, it's still an improvement if you don't know what you're doing. But if you take already pretty good sound, it actually makes it really, in my experience. So I have pretty good inputs from these microphones. She's using a mic. I'm using a mic. It sounds pretty good already. So I can do this and it'll sound just slightly better. And I'll actually like it. Again, with terrible audio, you're just going to want to choose your risk, right? Does it sound good enough? I want to leave it as this, or you can try studio sound or whatever. So other than that, it takes a while to process this entire audio. The only other thing I really want to show you is, again, this is not a full editing video. I'm not going to go into like all the video editing, audio editing stuff, but the publishing stuff is what really just blows me away with this stuff. First of all, you can also export transcripts and subtitles from the web. You have to pull open the desktop app if you just want to export a video like to your computer or whatnot. Not available on web. You just have to open up the version of your computer. But publishing, web link. So this is actually what I do now. You publish it, it goes to the web. You can close your computer literally after you press this button and then just log in later and your video is waiting for you. And then you can download it if you want. Or you could do other things with it. But of course, you can go straight to, I use Buzzsprout for my podcasting. So I just hit publish and it's uploaded as a draft, right? You have to log into Buzzsprout and you can change your details, set a publishing date or whatever. And same thing with YouTube. Where is YouTube? There it is. Why is YouTube at the top? Don't know. Anyways, name it, title, description. You can edit from here. I usually do that stuff in YouTube, so I just leave it like this. Set a category. You can add some tags if you want to. And then you can publish straight away if you want. Public, I never do that. I just do private. And then you can go in and schedule it and when to publish and add a thumbnail and all that sort of stuff. It's pretty cool. You don't have to download any files. You just export it from here. And it processes all the stuff on the back end. You can close your computer, log into YouTube an hour later, or not even an hour, but it takes like, I don't know, like 20 minutes-ish or something. And then it's there. And it's done. Pretty cool. So that's actually it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Drop them below. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed Descript or Riverside or Zencastr, depending on what you choose. Obviously, I recommend Descript, and they're not paying me cash to say that. I think it's a really cool app. They do amazing things. The technology is just rapidly improving and so easy these days. And it's worth it. And the price is right on top of that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you in the next one. Adios.